How's it going, everybody? It's Sean here, and I'm back today to give you guys a review of the New Balance 860 V2 from the Earth and Mars pack in this Mars colorway. So with little background information, the New Balance 860 V2 was a running shoe that released back in 2011. But nowadays, with collaborations with, for example, Aimé Leon Dore, Dime, and This Is Never That, it's become much more of a lifestyle and everyday use shoe. This pair, however, is not a collaboration, but it is part of the Earth and Mars pack, which consists of two colorways, one representing Earth and this one representing Mars. And originally these released a few months ago, and it was believed to be a Korea exclusive, but a couple weeks back they landed here in Canada at a couple of our local shops, including Haven and Capsule, which is where I managed to pick my pair up. So these retailed for a price of 180 Canadian dollars, which is the equivalent to roughly 140 USD. And the official colorway for this shoe is Timberwolf and Moonbeam, and the product code is ML860KS2. So diving straight into the details, the base layer of the sneaker, this is constructed out of a beige colored mesh. So this mesh to the touch has a bit of a scratchy feel to it. And then covering the U-throat of the shoe, we have this synthetic nubuck with the New Balance branding in the middle, and the same material covers the sides of the toe box as well. So you can see we have a mix of light beige and dark beige detailing on the medial side, and then this darker synthetic nubuck on the lateral side with light beige detailing. And then surrounding the front toe cap, we have another layer of this synthetic material with these three horizontal broken line detailing found on either side. Moving downwards, you can see covering the mid panel of the shoe, we have more of that darker beige colored nubuck with lighter beige colored detailing found throughout. And then this connects to the New Balance N logo, which is featured on both sides of the sneaker. But the N logo on the lateral side, this is done in a mix of cream, silver, and white colored detailing. Underneath the New Balance N logo, we have a different type of mesh, and this is done in more of a translucent finish in this yellow tone. And then moving further down, surrounding the top portion of the ankle collar area, we have more of that same scratchy style mesh that we saw earlier on the toe box. And then on the lateral side only, we have this synthetic overlay, and we have 860 V2 branding visible here on the lateral side only. Underneath this, we have more of that lighter beige mesh, but we have these TPU overlays found on top, and then in the middle of the heel, we have the New Balance branding pressed on, and on either side of it, we have more of that semi-translucent mesh that we saw earlier on the bottom of the mid panel. In terms of laces, so these come with two different lace options. The one that I prefer are these oval shaped laces, which is done in a mix of white with gray colored detailing on the edges. And these laces I found were very stretchy. But if you're not feeling these laces, they also come with a secondary tonal lace, which more so matches the color of the upper of the shoe. It's a bit darker in tone. Underneath this, the bottom half of the tongue is crafted using that same scratchy style mesh that we saw earlier on the toe box. We have this woven overlay which helps secure the laces in place in the middle. And then on the top of the tongue, this is slightly padded and it's covered in more of an open style mesh. And pressed across the top of the tongue, we have the New Balance branding. So the back of the tongue and the inner liner of this shoe, this is slightly padded and it's covered in a grayish beige colored textile. And then moving on to the insoles, so these come with a decently well padded foam lined insole. It's covered in that same beige finish on the top, and pressed onto the heel we have New Balance running branding in white. So the upper of the New Balance 860 V2, this is the exact same tooling found on the 2002R and the 1906R. So if this looks familiar to you guys, that's exactly why. So this midsole is crafted using a mix of Absorb and Absorb SBS. So for the most part, it's painted in this light beige tone. And in addition to Absorb and Absorb SBS, we also have New Balance's Energy technology, which is visible on the lateral heel with these gel-like pillars. And this is there to help with impact protection and shock absorption. Finally, turning this pair over to the bottom, so this outsole again is the same one found on the 2002R and 1906R. So this is constructed out of a mix of this dark khaki gray colored rubber along with more of a cream colored rubber. We still have that same diamond shaped traction pattern on the forefoot along with those horizontal grooves to give you added flexibility. And underneath the rubber in the middle, we have New Balance's Stability Web technology, which essentially is a TPU shank plate, which is there to help with torsional rigidity and mid-foot support. So that breaks down the look and the construction of this pair. And for those wondering about sizing, my foot measures as a true size 10, slightly on the wider side. I got these in a size 10 and they fit me perfectly in a slightly snug way. So to give you guys a point of reference, I also stick true to size or a size 10 in other New Balance silhouettes like the 2002R, 1906R, and a lot of made in UK models like the 991, 1500, and 1530. And in comparison, I usually go a half size down to a 9.5 in a lot of, if not most, made in USA New Balance shoes. For example, the 992, 993, 990 V3, V4, V5, and V6. So I feel like if you go with your actual measured foot size, you should be okay if you don't mind more that snug one-to-one fit. But if you'd like your shoes to fit more generously, then I feel like some people would prefer to go up a half size, and it should be okay. Moving on to the comfort, so these feel pretty much like any other 2002R or 1906R. The one thing I noticed though is that the upper of the shoe is extremely lightweight because it's predominantly made out of meshes. It feels very airy and very minimalistic from that standpoint, and the underfoot feeling is pretty much identical to a 2002R or a 1906R. In my opinion, it's a pretty well-balanced shoe. It gives you some level of cushioning and squishiness underfoot, but it is a very stable shoe, so you don't ever really feel that your foot is sinking into the cushion, and it doesn't feel overwhelming in that sense. So in my opinion, if you need an everyday sort of sneaker, one that you're going to be wearing for many hours within a day, or if you're on vacation, for example, I think this would be a very solid option. Last but not least, in terms of the quality and the craftsmanship. So first off, unfortunately, from a material quality standpoint, basically the entire shoe is crafted using synthetic materials. So we have a bunch of synthetic nubucks, a bunch of meshes, and really there's nothing premium about this shoe, which makes sense considering it was originally released as a 2011 running shoe. So if you're coming into this expecting very plush leathers, for example, then you will be extremely disappointed. But because I kind of expected what an 860 V2 will be from a quality standpoint already, I really wasn't surprised. But on the other hand, from a build and craftsmanship standpoint, honestly, I thought this pair was pretty solid. I had some minor issues with the quality of the stitching, but aside from that though, I thought the panels were cut in place consistently, the left foot and the right foot looked pretty much identical, and I really had nothing else to nitpick aside from the stitching. So with all that out of the way now, let me toss these on feet, I'll lace them up for you, and I'll show you guys how these look. So I'll be honest with you guys, my initial thought when I heard about this Earth and Mars pack is that, what do these two colorways have to do with Earth and Mars? I really don't see the connection whatsoever. In my opinion, it's a bit of a stretch, but putting aside the whole theming of the pack, I just think this colorway is a very clean, very beautiful colorway, one that's very neutral, which means you can wear it with basically anything you want. Though if I had to choose, I feel like I'm a bigger fan of the 2002R and the 1906R over this original 860 V2 silhouette. For some reason, it just looks a bit more sleek and it doesn't have as much bulk to it, which is something I kind of prefer on my foot as opposed to the more streamlined and fast looking 860 V2. But this is a shoe I don't think is going to sell out whatsoever. As of right now, at least, it's sitting on those stores that I mentioned earlier on in the review. So I wouldn't be surprised whatsoever if these were eventually heavily discounted and sold for a very cheap price. So let me know in the comment section down below, what do you guys think about this Mars colorway of the New Balance 860 V2? Between the Mars and the Earth colorways, which of the two do you guys prefer? And is this a shoe you can see yourself picking up? Are you waiting for these to go on sale? Or is it not really your thing and it's going to be a straight pass? If you guys like this video, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet. You can follow me on Instagram at esco8, follow my Twitter account at sean.go, and visit my website at seango.ca. So thanks so much for watching. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this review and hopefully it helped you in some way. As always, appreciate the continued love and support. I'm honestly reading every single comment left on this channel, and I try to respond to everyone that I can on Instagram too, so your support does not go unnoticed. So thanks again everyone, and I'll catch you guys all in my next video.